What is up, guys? It's Brad back on the channel with some more Huddersfield Town content. It is another live stream, and yeah, what a crazy weekend. If you went, you'll know exactly what went down. Well, you'll have seen exactly what went down, more like down in the capital, over in West London at Fulham. A lot of the pundits, a lot of the bookies, and pretty much everyone who had any affiliation to that game will have said to us, Huddersfield aren't getting anything from this game. There were times where I did believe them. There were times where I kind of thought maybe we could get a point. But although I predicted 2-1, you'd have had to done a lot of convincing to say to me, you're going to go and win at Fulham. So it just goes to show the kind of intensity and togetherness that this squad has right now. And we're going into a game which we can't treat as a rollover. Just looking at the settings of the stream, we can't treat it as a rollover by any means whatsoever, because it's a team that we never do well against, home or away. So, we have got a point against Preston and 4 for the season against them. But it's one of them where you can never rule anyone out. You have to be on your game. And I don't expect anything else from the Terriers on Wednesday night. So it's time to introduce our guest. We have got in a Cardiff City fan, Nathan, who runs the NWM channel. So I'm just going to bring him in now, and he can plug himself and talk about everything he does.
All right, mate. How's it going?
Good stuff. Good stuff. It's going good, man. It's going good. It's great to get you on. Go ahead, plug your channel, mate, and everything you do, and all that kind of gravy.
Appreciate it, mate. Thanks for having me on, of course. NWM channel, just type those 3 letters in, sub to my channel if you like. And all I'll say is, all my content basically is, considering the last few months of watching Cardiff City, rants, vlogs, and live streams. I hope that's what you guys are looking for, but I really appreciate every sub that we can get, if that's all right, guys. And that's about it, really.
Better time to say good stuff, So this is a fixture that you'll have enjoyed in recent times, because every time we seem to play you, home or away, it's a Cardiff win, give or take, until last season, isn't it?
It is, and I remember in the when we were both in the Premier League as well, both 0-0s, both boring games. Don't take me back to that, but quite a good history for us as well. I remember a few years back, I think, when you went up 3-0 on the last day of the season. That really knocks your confidence a lot as well. But it's been a lot in our favour as of late as well. But you never know, the tides could turn here. Yes, we got that win I believe it was a win last time around, wasn't it? To the Bluebirds.
Don't remind me, mate. Don't remind me. It was a painful trip home. the only game I can say where I genuinely thought there was a possibility I'd cry. But one of them.
I don't blame you. Honestly,
I mean, it was worse. It was worse enough when Huaylet scored that deflected one the year before. It was worse enough. Well, not the year before, 2 seasons before, in the 93rd minute. Even worse when it's like that, when we're a much better team and we deserve more out of the game. But these things happen. But we'll call it character development, because that's all we can call it at the end of the day. It was absolutely awful to see. But you're a lot of doing quite good at the minute, aren't you? Obviously, we thought we'd go and hand you a win when you lost 9 in a row. We love doing that to teams. I'm saying this, but it's all waffle at the minute, because we've not lost in 15. So I actually can't quite.
That's amazing.
Believe what I'm reading. All competitions we're in the round of 16 in the FA Cup. For Huddersfield Town, I'm not joking. If that's like a revelation. That's like that never happens. So it's going good at the minute, and no disrespect to Cardiff City, but you're in a position you didn't think you'd be in. You're in a position that you wouldn't have, you don't like to be in. You're not so much in the relegation battle as the teams below you, but you can't ever rule out that possibility of being dragged into it if form goes against you. But what's the football you're playing? What are you playing? Is it good? Is it negative? Is it all in between?
It depends who we're facing, to be honest, because Morrison's come in, completely sort out the absolute dire rubbish that was under Mick McCarthy I don't get how he was sacked so late, to be honest. That was ownership decisions, and the fans in a way forced him out in the end. But I gotta be honest with Morrison. He's like Neil Harris. He plays a lot to the players' strengths. But aside from that as well, he tailors it to every team we're playing. So if he knows that we're not in with a chance of winning it, he'll sort of hold out until halftime, wait until after halftime, start pressing and attacking from 60 minutes, especially when he's absolutely slaughtered them at halftime for not putting in enough effort. He'll bring the likes of Uche Pezu on loan from Middlesbrough, get a lot of faith on as well. Really, really happy that he came in as well, and then push and get those few last-minute goals. So it sort of varies each week, but we're starting to play a lot more football, play it along the ground.
More so than McCarthy, anyways.
Oh, 100%. That was some of the worst football I have ever seen in my life. And that's saying something considering some of the stuff we watched over the last 5 years. But it's a lot better now, playing it on the floor. Lots of quick, short passing, not holding possession as much, but just trying to get it forward as quickly as we can.
Move the ball forward, yes. There's no point. Sometimes there's no point having the ball if it's just in your own half.
100%.
Something that we think. But like I say, just to bring you back, actually, because it was in the back of my mind when you said it, there's a couple of theories with Town fans. So that 3-0 win that you got at our place when we got promoted, it meant nothing to you because you were like 8th or 10th or whatever. You weren't going up, you weren't going down. It would just end wrapping the season up kind of thing, wasn't it? Now, some people will correct me in the comments, some people agree, mate. A lot of people reckon we didn't mean to get our keeper sent off, but we actually threw the game. Not 100% purposely, but we didn't try to win as such. Because winning that game along with others, I believe it was last game of the season, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Yeah. So I believe there's a lot of theories, and I actually do realize we lost that game so we didn't get Fulham in the playoffs. Because had we won or drew that game, I think we'd have got Fulham. And I think our manager wanted us to do our best job of not getting Fulham, whatever the cost. Because Fulham, for context, had beaten us on an aggregate of 9-1 that season. So getting Fulham was kind of let's not again. But who knows? But yeah, you were a dominant performance. You were clinical and everything in the rest. And
100%. The one thing I will say for that though is respect to David Wagner for putting out a somewhat strongish team, even with not hinting that he wanted to win that game. Because if that was Neil Warnock, he would have played the under fives. Yeah, and would have just thrown out the weakest team that he could have found. But respect on that one. And in a way, it's football. You've got to do what you got to do. Yes, it might not be integral, and a lot of fans might not like it, but the plan worked perfectly. Yeah, Premier League for 2 seasons.
Win ugly or lose gracefully. It's one of those, isn't it? But right, 100%. We're going to get on to talking about some kind of. Well, we'll look at the last 5 for each team. That's something I think that's really crucial to this fixture. Obviously, you could argue the last 15 for us, to be honest, But yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind season for us. I don't think anyone's doubting that.
100%.
We had our blip. We lost to a team. I'll look for it now, and I obviously can explain my point better. But we had a massive blip, and the win that you got against us was in and amongst that, and it was kind of where we just capitulated, like full stop. This was it, right? So. We beat Millwall and then we drew to Peterborough. Again, similar situation to the game against you. No disrespect, we should have put it to bed, and then sat in the game. But we allowed you to come into it, didn't we? Mm-hmm. About half time, you put so many balls in the box, and you just can't defend that at the end of the day. Peterborough, Cardiff, then we bounced back, then we lost to QPR and we lost to Borough, and then we drew to Barnsley in Coventry, and
that's a terrible result, Barnsley, that actually, considering the situation they're in. Just looking at some of the stats as well. So 18 shots, mad.
Yeah, no, honestly, that we even said it ourselves. The day was great until we got to the stadium. Like the pubs, the train, everything was great, and then we got to the ground and it was like, oh. But it was West Brom. So we beat West Brom, then we lost to QPR away, lost to Borough at home. Due to Barnsley, just Coventry, and we sat there thinking, where's the next win going to come from? And I'm not joking, since Borough we haven't lost. So we all we all looked like idiots because we're all sat there saying when are we going to win next, and then well, we didn't lose since, so we can't complain at all. Absolute, just crazy. So our last 5: win at Fulham away, a draw at home to Sheffield United, another goalless draw at Deepdale, a win against Barnsley this time round, and a win against Derby. For context, the Preston game, we just tried to sit on that. We were happy getting a point.
Yeah,
Deepdale's our bogey ground, mate. We don't get anything there. So to get a point, it's a point. Sheffield United, I don't know if you're aware, we got robbed, like physically robbed. We scored a goal, perfectly good goal, and they gave it against us. But like we've seen in the EFL, these decisions level themselves out. We got a penalty
every week. If anyone watches my videos, every single week there is at least about 4 decisions that we always rant about, and I think the last few vlogs as well have been titles just purely about the refereeing. And in fact,
of course, yeah,
us and Swansea are the only teams who have not had a penalty this season, which is just crazy to think about and suspicious in a way. But we've had some diabolical ones recently.
I think it's quite comical, to be fair, but I think I know the reason for the Swansea part, and your viewers and you will love what I'm going to say next. I think we know exactly the reason why Swansea aren't getting penalties this season, and it's because a certain someone went abroad and left, and that's Ayew.
Yes.
That guy just threw himself on the floor for him, and fair play to the rest for finally getting on top of it this season. Obviously with yourself, it's one of those. We've only had 2. Our second one was against Fulham. At least this one we scored because we know exactly what happened in the home fixture last year. When this happened, we had Yaya Sanogo, who some fans had the actual goal to say was going to be good, and he missed the penalty and then did nothing else and left. So honestly, absolute horrible season. So what's Hugo been like?
So as of late, I'd say we've had Steve Morrison's had times for everything to gel, and it's starting to come together now, especially the youngsters and the signings he's brought in January. Your Pezus, your Hugels, Tommy Doyle has been absolutely superb.
Yeah,
Cody Drama, unreal player. I don't understand how he's in the Championship. For me, he could be knocking on the door for someone like a Norwich or Burnley easily, and how Leeds let him go was just ridiculous on loan. But Blackpool at home last time around, Pettier, comical defending at the start, and then Joel Bagan scoring 3 in 3, 21-year-old right back. We've got so many.
He's the guy that scored that beauty against Forest, isn't it?
It was, round both of the players, side foot in top corner, beautiful. But he's been on fire recently. Fair play to him. I'd say we were definitely the better team against Blackpool. Just couldn't finish it off, but with the refereeing for both sides, definitely definitely a fair result. 2-0 against Coventry, superb victory. They just didn't turn up for that at all.
No, they didn't want it. They could see on telly. The second half, they didn't do anything.
100%. And once again, superb from us, Bagan Harris, both of our 2 more of our youngsters, absolutely superb there. Assists going in everywhere. Then Millwall, that was kind of unlucky. Ever since we had that penalty denial, for me, that was a Stonewall penalty with the handball in the box. After that, we just couldn't get it back into the game, which was a shame. I'll take that. But, we can't win everything at the end of the day. And then 4-0 against Peterborough, crying out for it all season. Hugo, Pezu, Flint and Rolls getting the goals there.
Yeah, they're the games that you need as a club down near there. Obviously, it is what it is, isn't 100%. It? And you know you're not going to be exactly going anywhere probably this season, but getting the confidence back in games like that, 4-0, it sends a message, doesn't it, really? Because
it does.
I'm not being funny, there is a clear difference between Cardiff and Peterborough. Like, when we played, it wasn't massive. Because obviously, like I say, you weren't playing great football then. But now, obviously, there's a big difference. Even with the loss of Kiefer Moore, you look better. You could argue you look better now than when you had Moore. And obviously, it's a massive
100%.
loss. But you've sorted the rest of the team out and it's gelled together in the right system. So, would you say you're playing better now than even when you had Kiefer Moore?
Absolutely. I mean, to be fair to Kiefer, I'm not going to slander him at all because these things happen at the end of the day. He wants Premier League football. We can't stop him with that. And if I'm honest as well, Kiefer's actually been injured most of the season. Like, I have Swansea fans banned from me all season saying, "Oh, Kiefer Moore's been shocking. He needs to get out of Cardiff as soon as possible." But how can he play when he's been mostly injured, coming off early, struggling with knocks and everything? But we've been much better because Steve Morrison has this. He's bringing in this attitude at the club that if you have to have the biggest fire ever and you have to push for anything, have as much passion as you can, and if you don't want to be there, then you're gone. We've seen that with so many different players. I mean, Lee Tomlin going, unfortunately, because of his injuries, and he just didn't see a long-term future with him. Look, he was actually under 23's manager before, and he released so many players there, which was needed because they need that strong figure there.
Gotta get rid of the deadwood at the end of the day, aren't you?
We do, and we've had it for years as well. And I am so looking forward to the summer. We have a ridiculous amount of deadwood at the club that we just need to clear out. And this is the biggest rebuild in the club's history. I think it could be either amazing for us back in the Premier League, or it could be a complete disaster. But yeah, it'll be very interesting either way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're both teams that went up at different stages. Us staying there for a year, and you guys not being as fortunate. But then again, we talk about refereeing decisions. We've got to acknowledge the big one, and obviously, I sympathise massively because we both got absolutely, well, a polite way of putting it, shafted in the Prem that season. We both went down.
Completely right.
We had one against Brighton. A lot of town fans remember it. And you had obviously the one against Chelsea, which it just changes the game.
And Burnley and so many others as well, but that was the big one.
And the one against was it Watford, I think, where Jacob Murphy went down in the box and he didn't even look at the ball or anything. It does ruin the chance that you get given.
The crazy thing is as well. Steve? Go ahead.
Go on.
The thing I was going to say about that Chelsea game, I don't mean to be bitter or anything, but if that goal wouldn't have stood, or the last two, because obviously we scored first, we would have stayed up.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, because obviously if they're not going to score one, then how? Well, if they're not going to score two if they don't score one. So to get the second goal, come off the momentum for the first goal, so they cancel each other out as such. No, they might have got a draw, but you can't base this on
even then. We should have had a penalty as well. Kenneth Zahor being basically rugby tackled by Zuma, not even a penalty or even a red card when he was last man. Yeah, that was just criminal. But that's just Cardiff City at the end of the day.
I'm right in thinking Steve Morrison with a Millwall striker, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, so you can already see the kind of person he is, the individual, obviously with his passion that he showed at Millwall in the playoffs. So I mean, it looks like you've got a much better manager who actually has the right ideas and maybe goals going forward, don't it? In terms of Mick McCarthy playing hoofball and not knowing what to do and this and the rest of it. Because it seems like you have a good manager for a long time and then they just lose it and then it all comes crumbling down, doesn't it?
It does, and we've seen that with a few managers over our time. I mean, the biggest one was McCarthy. He had a good start, but then again, when he first came into the club, he had an absolutely superb squad. He wasn't backed. Well, he was sort of backed in the summer, but not with any money at all. Sold half of the squad, got nothing back, bought in some dead wood, just went crumbling down because it wasn't the right side for him. Neil Harris gutted that went wrong for him, but it just came crumbling down. Warnock, for me, it was time to go at the right time. Style of play wasn't working. Wrong players yet again, and it seems to be a pattern that you're absolutely right with. But Morrison, I can see it being a long-term project now. Vincent Tan does back him, which is a good thing to see. It's just whether he'll be back financially, which
that's a big one.
We can't tell of our owners what's going to happen next. They could just make any decision at this point. Like, it took about 4 or 5 games from when we wanted him out for McCarthy to be sacked, and it's hard to tell at times.
Yeah, obviously it's I'm a firm believer in that you've got to. Well, I suppose it goes for everything, doesn't it? If you've got the right manager, the rest comes with it.
It does.
Sometimes it's their style, sometimes it's not the players on the pitch, and then sometimes it's the opposite. So we're going to look at a couple of comments, obviously, because we spoke a bit about the game. Hello to everyone who said hello. Nimrod, HFC, Thunderball, Lucas, great to see you, Paul, and you, Blue Terrier. Look forward to this match. Cardiff will be tough, but we are due a win up the town. Hope we get a decent crowd. I mean, yeah, we are. We do have this habit of drawing and winning at home. So it might be right. Maybe we are due another win at home. Okay, another prediction for me: 1-0 Town, Ward 88 Limbs. That would hurt. That would
hurt bad. Yeah,
that would be painful. Johnny Oghead, but not again. Jesus.
Oh, no.
They don't have more this time though. 1-0
I don't think that would affect us at all.
Cardiff City going to get Dwayne Holmes. 2-0 Town. We can go third tomorrow. I did not know that at all. Can we actually? Oh, wait, we can't. So if we win tomorrow and QPR and Blackburn both play tomorrow, don't
they? Yes.
So if neither of them win, Blackburn have got Sheffield United, haven't they?
I believe so. Let me just have a look.
Is it? It's at Bramall Lane.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Is it at Bramall Lane?
At Bramall Lane.
And QPR are Blackpool. So if neither of them win, we go third if we win. But that's a big. That's
impressive.
It's a big if to win though, because you're Cardiff, and we never do well against Cardiff. So that's another one. How you doing, Adam? Great to see you. Great to see you, Caden, Bluebird legend. Hugo's been very good. Yeah, a lot of Cardiff fans have said that. Giles was the big loss. I've heard good things about Giles. Was he? Didn't he play wing back for you guys, or was it?
Under Mick McCarthy, he started as a winger because he was the only creative spark in the squad. Then when Morrison came in, McCarthy got sacked, got moved to left wing back. All season he's been flying crosses in. His left foot whipped into the box to Kiefer Moore's head was next level at times. Getting 10 assists or 10, 11 assists by the time he left.
Sometimes those duos are exactly what you need as well.
It was, and then for Wolves just to pull a plug on it was just heartbreaking in a way. I mean, they say never fall in love with a lone player, but he was the glue that was keeping Cardiff City together under McCarthy, and that just went. But I mean, we've built stronger now under Morrison. He's brought in some superb players, so can't really complain too much. But it's just one of those things at the end of the day for us.
Yeah, no, I totally, I totally reciprocate obviously what you mean, because we've got a similar situation with Levi Colwell from Chelsea. He's going to go back eventually, and we're all going to get his hearts broken again. The big one for us was probably Karel Aitin, and then we got him back this season. He's had a bit of a slower start, but I'm sure he'll get more involved in games to come. There's 46 games in a season, and there's how many of those left? 13. So for us, I'm sure he'll get involved and so on and so on. But Smith Rowe was the one that town fans remember that we never signed. Like that was painful, that, because we never even seen him play live. Oh no, we did play. No, we seen him play for about 2 months, I think it was, and then we went into lockdown, which was really fun. Question here for you, mate. Do you lads rate Alex Smithies?
The amount of heat that I've got from my own fan base, or as in what? No, not my fan base. I'm on about general Cardiff fans. Is
of course, your audience,
in general, because if I'm honest, I rate Alex Smithies as a player, but I prefer Dylan Phillips as a shot stopper. For me, Alex Smithies on his day can be absolutely phenomenal. One of the best keepers in the Championship, but he just has patches, and we've seen it. He's been at the club for about 3-4 years now, where he has some games where he does make these silly mistakes. And coming into Dylan Phillips, he's a good up and coming young keeper. I think he's only about 25. Phillips, really starting to improve as his age goes on, and in for the long run, and seeing where it goes as well, and with with wages and the lot, and with what I've seen personally on who's been better, I prefer Dylan Phillips. I mean, his performance against Liverpool proved that to me, that I still prefer him over him. Yes, Smithies was phenomenal against Blackpool and in the game prior against Coventry, but still for me, Phillips. But I do rate him. I do still rate both of them as players.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment, to be honest. I mean, yeah, there's different values and different traits in different keepers, isn't there? And we have a similar thing to talk about with our keeper, Lee Nichols. the Swansea keeper, Fisher, and Nichols were keepers at MK Dons. Martin chose Fisher because he could play with his feet. I will tell you now, everyone can have opinions and every opinion's valid. But in this case, we are right. And Nichols is the better keeper. He's the better goalkeeper. You know, like Fisher, you know, he might be great with his feet, but Nichols is by far the better stop shot. And I will say this, he is the best keeper in the league. Look, he's being biased. He's being biased, but I'm not going to say Sorba Thomas is the best winger in the league. I'm not going to say Ward's the best striker. I'm not going to say O'Brien's the best midfielder, because all those to me are things that you could make arguments for. And again, but in my honest opinion, from what I've seen from Lee Nichols, I genuinely think he's the best keeper in the league. Like, on a level where we've got the same clean sheets as Bournemouth and a couple of others, but look at the team that Bournemouth have and look at the team that we have. There's a massive difference in quality there. Not a massive difference in points, but everyone will back me up on this. I just, you know, it's personal preference, but I would say he's the best keeper in the league. I mean, what have you seen much of him?
I've seen highlights of him. I'd definitely say he's up there. And in terms of the Fisher argument, it's not even close for me. I mean, yes, call me biased, but I do not rate Fisher at all. And down west, they think he's the next best thing since sliced bread because he can play football with his feet. That's another argument for another day. Me constantly going on about the style of play down there, but completely agree with you. And for me, Premier League quality, if you go up, even though that would be you'd have to push for the rest of the season, get in playoffs, have another. You're superb in playoffs anyway, and some not enough.
We always do every chance. Always do brilliant in it, don't we?
You do, he's definitely Prem ready. But the only thing is, if, say, for example, you don't go up within the next few years, I can see him being poached if you're not careful. If Burnley go stay up, you could go there. Saints is another one, Southampton. Lots of perfect clubs for him in the Prem. Yeah,
and this is exactly something that I keep saying to all my mates. And that when we go to all the games, we'll sit there, and when we'll have had a couple of drinks. And when you have a couple of drinks, this is where you deep the thought a bit more. And we'll say to ourselves, right, joking apart, if we don't go up this season, I think we need to go up this season. They'll say we're not ready for it. I'll say we'll never be ready for it. And I say the reason why we need to go up is if we don't, O'Brien's gone straight away. Sorba may be gone. Levi, we're not getting him back. And there's loads of players here and there that we don't have a prayer of keeping. And it scares me because those 4 players can be make or break between a season. Like, if we didn't have Nichols, I can tell you now, we wouldn't be in the playoffs. If we didn't have Nichols, we'd be 13th, 14th. We won't be down at the bottom because we've been better than that. But he's so crucial to our wins. You know, at Fulham, he just doesn't. He's just got this like aura about him as well, like where he kind of just like. He just doesn't care, really. It's like whenever the referee books him, he does this thing where he like puts his arms together and he goes, like he just doesn't care. Like you know, he's just got that attitude where he just loves to shit house, as you would call it. And he's had about 8 cards or 7 cards this season, which he needs to watch, but he gets them because he just time wastes because he's perfect at it. Great character, great goalkeeper. We've been very fortunate to secure him. All these players we've gotten, we've not spent a penny. It's just testament to our recruitment this year. But any bad performances for Lee? Do you mean Lee Nichols or Tom Lees? I'm going to believe you mean Lee Nichols. Well, there's games where everyone's had a bad performance, so you wouldn't say he's had a bad performance. Like the Borough game.
Isn't perfect. That's the argument we've got to make. Everyone's going to have a bad game at some point.
He will have a howler now. We've said this. And the best part about that comment is I say this every preview, every week. I ramble on about him like he's God. And he hasn't yet. So touch wood with both hands like now.
Absolutely.
He doesn't do it. You'll probably want him to do it tomorrow night, but we can pray he doesn't. This is a big game for both teams. I think every game from now until the end of the season, I say this every week, every game from now until the end of the season is big because
100%.
Because if you establish the wrong kind of form at this stage, it can all go wrong. For example, if we go on a blip now, playoffs is done. You go on a blip now, you've got a relegation battle on your hands, and we don't need the stress of going out the playoffs when we've been up there all season. You don't need the stress of going into the relegation battle when there are clearly at least 3 teams that are worse than you, and that's Barnsley, Peterborough, and Reading in my eyes.
100%.
Derby, I don't think you can, because they'd be like 12th or whatever, so you can argue for and against on that. Hull, they're a bit of a weird one at the minute. They're beating the best teams and losing to the worst, but by far, Reading, Peterborough, and Barnsley are not on the level of Cardiff. And obviously, you're bang next to Swansea and Birmingham, aren't you, as well as Bristol. Yeah. So it's all to play for there. You might even make a charge up to mid-table, and that'd obviously be a massive step forward, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, considering our recent form as well, I can see us finishing as high as 14th this year. People may think I'm absolutely crazy and deluded by saying that, but if you look at the trend of where some teams are going, I mean, Bristol City are up and down. Birmingham, Swansea are dropping like a stone at the moment, and they were absolutely appalling against Sheffield United. Yeah. But that Swansea game is the biggest match of the season for us, 100%, and it's going to get pretty ugly if the unthinkable happens in that game, where they do the double for the first time ever in history, which has never happened. But yeah, I got a feeling we're going to leapfrog both Birmingham and the Jacks soon, and Bristol. Well, Bristol City, I'm not too sure about, but we just got to continue what we're doing now. For me, keep grinding out results, staying away from them, but. Yeah, Barnsley are gone for me. Peterborough were woeful against us, and
they were shocking. The fact they got a point off us, we wanted liquidating after that game. Honestly, just with the with the absolute embarrassment that we displayed, but we've made up for it since. Everyone's 100%. Contributed a piece of the pie, so we'll forget about it. But then again, you can argue the point, can't you? Because we'd rather lose against the likes of the likes of you and Peterborough and Barnsley and all them, because giving you points isn't going to hurt us, but losing against the big sides, that's where it really will hurt us. Like, had we lost on Saturday, Fulham are out of our reach. I don't think we're going to be looking at automatics. It's a possibility. I think some people underestimate, some people overestimate. Like, at the moment in time, you've got an out of form. Literally, I'm looking at it now, mate. Yeah, and Blackburn and QPR are both in the exact same form for the past 5 games. Their 5th game, their last game out of the 5, as in the one they played the longest ago, that's the win. They both drew after that. They both lost 2 and they both drew. So they're not in great form at all. They've got 5 points out of the last 5. That's not promotion form. Like, you look at us in Sheffield United, that's more. That's more promotion form. That's 9 points out of the last 5. That's 11 points out of the last 5. That's more kind of the level and rhythm that you need to be going at. And Bournemouth have turned it around, obviously, getting 3 wins out of the last 3. But we have Bournemouth soon. We have QPR soon. So it's an absolute lottery at the minute.
It is.
I'll ask you, who do you think out of the 3 teams is going up?
It's an interesting one, because I've been pretty consistent the last few weeks. I've been saying it on the podcast that I'm a part of as well. Got to plug that in there. Sorry, guys. For me, Fulham and Bournemouth are both up. Fulham, their squad is just nuts. And then Bournemouth, they have squad depth. They're the best squad depth probably in the EFL, I'd say, personally, for me. And then I can see, with how good Forest have been recently, I can see them sneaking into the playoffs and nicking it, if I'm honest. Yeah. And it very well could be a Forest Huddersfield final. And I think it will be that. Sadly, with Forest just winning it, unfortunately.
It'd be a first for us to lose at Wembley, but it'd be a fairy tale season for Forest, obviously, to come from being bottom all the way to the promised land.
That's what the championship's about.
Exactly, very much so, mate. Interesting take. Brad, who's your best player apart from Lee Nichols? You're asking me. I probably have to say this season it's either got to be Ward, Hoggett or O'Brien. Those three, I think. And then again, I don't know, because you could argue Pearson and Lees as well, because we've been solid. Like, do you know what? This is a good thing, though. It's the first time in years we've been able to say, 5 players have been at the level. And we've never had that opportunity, where we're actually looking for players that are actually better than each other. So I couldn't answer that question, to be fair, mate. I don't know how Blackburn are where they are. I don't rate them at all. It's a fair assessment because if you take Diaz out of the equation, then they're going to get, a bit kind of, complacent, a bit kind of, they're going to be moving down spaces because they've not got 100%. Points in recent games, similar to QPR. What obviously, like you say, you see Forest. Do you think Blackburn and QPR are slowly running out of the race, or?
Yeah, well, considering their latest form, I think QPR, they're going to probably still get playoffs but finish 6th. But Blackburn, I'm calling it now. I think they're going to finish about 8th.
Yeah,
they're going to have a massive drop-off. They have some all right players. I mean, Bradley Dack, for me, you can't really count him because the amount of times he gets injured all the time. But take Brereton Diaz out of that team. For me, I'm going to get a lot of comments for this, but it's
no, I know what you're going to say.
Mid-table.
It's average, yeah.
It is bang average, but
this is the thing though. A lot of people would argue, and I don't know if I agree 100%, but plenty could argue that we're average. You take Nichols out of the equation, we all have that star player, and if they get injured, it's
the way it all links up though. If
Mitrovic got injured, if they've still got a stellar team, a still unreal team, but it's a massive ding. For Bournemouth, if the likes of let's say Solanke got injured or
Billing, for example.
Billing, yeah. There's plenty of examples there. Quick question for you, mate. What do you prefer, home or away games? And what's been your best game this season?
That's a question and a half. I've got to be honest. Because it is, I miss Ninian Park like mad. Moving out of there in 2009 just lost the club's identity massively. We tried to rebuild at the CCS, but it just hadn't been the same. But for me, we have some of the best away fans in the Championship. I mean, we're taking nearly 1,000 tomorrow night, which is super.
Yeah, that's magnificent. That on a Tuesday night, you can't fault it.
100%.
A Wednesday night, can't fault it.
Saying that, massive respect to you guys putting your tickets to £5. That's what all EFL clubs should be doing for away fans midweek.
Yeah.
Get the numbers in, gets a good atmosphere going, and also that in a way it could generate more income as well. But yeah, really good. I can't be there tomorrow night, but yeah, definitely away games for me as of late until we get that atmosphere back, until we get the attendance numbers back. Hasn't been the same since the red change either. Still a lot of fans staying away because of Vincent Tan as well, which is kind of a shame with the way things are turned around there. But yeah, away days definitely. Best away day of the season has to be Blackpool when we won 2-0.
Yeah, I watched that video and I knew exactly you were going to say that. Yeah.
So good. Or Forest as well with the limbs in that second goal, Ruben Colwell. But yeah, absolutely love an away day.
Well, do you know what? It's funny you say that because we had 2 brilliant away days at Blackpool and Forest, respectively. A 3-0 win at Blackpool and a 1-0 win at Forest. So seems we like to go to the same grounds and get results. Crazy stuff. Right. We're not going to hold you for too much longer. We'll wrap it up with a score prediction, mate. What score prediction are you going for tomorrow night? Is the guest, I'll let you go first.
Right, I will say this now. I absolutely never predict my team to lose. I cannot do it. It's going to be impossible for us to grind out anything here. For me, we might have a chance of winning because of our recent form against you guys, especially at the John Smiths as well. I believe that's still the name of the ground. But
yeah, you won 3-0 twice in the past 5 years and drew 0-0, I believe, the other time.
That is impressive. You see, there is a pattern here. I'd like there to be goals, but I gotta keep with the pattern. I think it's going to be 0-0. Won't be surprised if we see goals, but I can see Morrison grinding out a result here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, if it's one of them where a 0-0, we'd kind of hope to beat a team down at the bottom end, but sometimes those are the ones that get the results against you because they're the ones that are grinding it out to try and get it done with the graft. So
absolutely,
it's one of them, and I think 0-0 is a fair assessment. It could be the one of them nights, especially in a midweek game. A lot of the time, you do get people that just kind of sit back. Yeah, we'll have to hope that someone's outside my room right now to hold me because I'll probably pass out because I'm actually going to predict something really positive for once, which is
wow.
a really, yeah. I'm feeling this one now. We might have a blip, but I don't think it's going to come this week. I think this week we're going to see at least 4 points, and I do think that the win will come here. I'm not gonna lie, mate. I do think it's. I think it's about time. You know, if we're getting a point at Deepdale after that many years of not getting out, then surely this must finally be the time that we beat you. You know, surely we must finally break that curse. So I'm going to go with Barry, my friend. You've called it a 3-1 Town win. It's bold, it's big, but we've never had a better team to do it. Especially against, obviously, like I said, a team that's down at the bottom end. You're in good form. But maybe if we'd have won that game against Blackpool, would have been a bit more conservative. But I think, obviously, coming into it with a draw, you're going to come to sit back, and all it takes is one goal from us, and you're going to come out to us, and we're going to put it to bed there on the counter. But yeah, I'm back in a 3-1 Town.
Absolutely.
Barry says we'll keep our unbeaten run until we play Bournemouth. That would be absolutely magnificent if we could do that. That'd really put us in with a shout.
I think that'll confirm playoffs for me for you guys if you end up doing that as well. Bournemouth for you, massive game, but you're absolutely right. I can respect that prediction. Like, it's just looking at your form concerns me with Cardiff and how we can come into here. And at the start of the season, we had some really good away form as well, but the tides are starting to turn, starting to get the CCS back to a bit of a fortress. And we're not doing as well away. Look, I mean, Millwall was a prime example, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I'll probably leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, Aidan said how many beers have I had because I'm being positive. Absolutely no alcohol in my system at the minute, Aidan. There will be tomorrow night though before the game. We'll have to have a couple to settle the nerves before we get the camera out and get cracking on with the vlog. But yeah, 3-1 Town. I'm going to back for Cardiff to score. We'll start with that. I'm going to back Doyle because I know he's a really good young talent, and away games are sometimes those games where the younger players steal goals. So Brad was positive against Fulham though. Yeah, I backed a 2-1 win and I got it spot on. Should have put money down. Yeah, if I'd have put money on it, we'd have lost. So that's the kind of way I look at it, to be fair. Yeah, like I say, I'm going with a 3-1 Town. Doyle to score for the Bluebirds. And for us, I'm going to go with the Danny Ward hat-trick.
Yeah, Danny Ward hat-trick. Oh boy.
I just think right. There's a stat here, mate, and I'll wrap it up after this, mate, because I don't want to keep too long. There's a stat here. Danny Ward has scored in the 8 games Danny Ward scored in. We've not lost.
That's mad. That's a mad stat.
When he scores first, if Danny Ward scores first or scores at all, I can't remember what it is. We've won 8 and drawn 2. That's like just crazy to think. Like, and everyone's saying in the chat, feed the Ward, mate. He's a completely new player. He's literally like we pulled him out of a 3D printer or something. He's a brand new
he's fresh. Brand new human being.
He's absolutely. I'll tell you something as well. He's grafting and creating as well. Watch it be 3-1 tomorrow. Aidan, I don't know if everyone in this chat's old enough to gamble, but get your parents on a Ward hat trick because it's coming in. It's coming in. But yeah, like I say, it's been great to get you on, mate. It's been great to preview the game with you.
Really appreciate it.
We'll just have to see how we get on tomorrow, how you get on tomorrow. It could be one of them days. We could have a surprise away win. We see one at the weekend. For us, it's the Championship. We don't know what's going to happen until it happens, really. But obviously, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe, like, and comment something constructive or anything that you feel like saying in the comments. Obviously, we're trying to get 5k. I'm not going to set a goal on that because who knows when we'll get that. But yeah, just keep smashing the sub button and obviously go ahead and sub to Nathan's channel. He's kind enough to lend us his time today to preview the game. And I'm sure you'll be doing a live watch along tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be watch along tomorrow. Unfortunately, wish I was at the game, guys. Honestly, I do apologise to all my viewers, of course, but probably start a few minutes before kickoff. But if anyone is interested who can't be at the game tomorrow, then why don't you pop by? Always fun and games there. Let's just say, even though we mostly have lost this season, but yeah, thanks for having me on once again, Paul. Really appreciate it.
All good, mate. All good. Up the Town or Brighton score for me tomorrow's, mate. Yeah, like it could happen. And rate John Russell. We've not seen enough of him for me to comfortably rate him, to be honest. But from what we've seen, I give him a solid 7 out of 10. He's been pretty good. And Nichols' overhead kick last minute. God, oh my God, right. That's where you know it's time to round it up. But thank you so much for everyone who tuned in tonight. There will be a match day vlog out tomorrow night after the game. I don't know how long it's going to be. Like the last one was nearly 20 minutes long because they're absolute scenes. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, it's been great to have Nathan alongside me, and it's been great to get the stream out. The schedule for this week. So Thursday, we're thinking of doing that stream that I mentioned where I get town fans on and, ask them if they think that it's possible for us to get promoted. And I will be going ahead with that stream. I'm not sure what time it is. It might be a bit on the later side. So I might be recording something with someone else. And then Friday, we're going to try and get a Birmingham fan on for the Birmingham away video. If we can't, we'll get a town fan on. If we can't do that, we'll just do it as me and involve all the comments as we sometimes do. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going Forest away. I'm going to every game apart from Millwall away. We're 50-50 on that. But last thank you as always, tuning in. I hope everyone's staying safe and hope everyone has a good week. Cheers, guys. And up the town. The town are going up with a 5 in the bank.